Time limit. In the red corner at 240 pounds from Duluth, Minnesota, Bill Irwin. In the blue corner at 244 pounds from Tampa, Florida, Paul Orndorff.
And action gets underway, and you hear the hands of the fans here on Championship Wrestling. Pulling for Florida's Paul Orndorff. Jack Howe calls for the bell. Orndorff against rookie Bill Irwin. We talked about Paul Orndorff and how he must have been downhearted as 2 weeks ago stripped by the National Wrestling Alliance of his coveted North American heavyweight title and reverted back because of the films furnished by Ernie Ladd, who reclaimed that title. And here he is, a very gallant young man coming right back on the trail of the North American heavyweight title. A very determined Paul Orndorff with a right forearm as retreating Bill Irwin. Leroy McGurk has gone from our table and taken his place, his associate and partner, Cowboy Bill Watts.
Well, of course, you know, Leroy is a master at disguising his feelings. He's a veteran, but he was really upset about the thing with Orndorff and Ladd, as was anybody with any sense of justice. Like Leroy said, how can a guy defend the title 2 months and then be stripped of it? And of course, this is an experiment they're even having in the National Football League, and they got 7 officials out there, and they still have an instant replay sometime overrule these decisions. And Leroy and I are of the opinion that you take the good with the bad, that it's a gamble, but what the final decision is that night should stand, and it's not as confusing, and it's not something where a young kid like Paul Orndorff that's just captured everybody by storm goes around. He defended the North American against some of the top guys there. Stan the Lariat Hansen, Ernie Ladd himself, Bruiser Brody, the Assassin, Brute, and then all of a sudden has it taken away from him on a reverse ruling. So here you see a man that's really on the trail. I'll say the thing with Paul Orndorff. He takes these lumps like a man, and he's determined to win it back. He's beat Ernie Ladd twice now for that title. Once when Ray Candy was badly injured, and we're going to see Ray Candy via VTR from Atlanta, Georgia, following this. And these are two men that are really hot on the trail of the North American champion Ernie Ladd, as is the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. Oh, tremendous agility there by Orndorff. Wow, that drop kick, Boyd, was right up the side of that Bill Irwin's face, and he's into that powerful full Nelson. And Orndorff is really after it. I don't think that Irwin, his arms are locked up too high. I don't think he'll be able to lever it down, and Jack Howe calls the decision and breaks the hold before he feels that Irwin would be badly injured.
And the victory.
At 327 pounds from Houston, Texas, co-holder of the Mid-South Tag Team Championship, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd. And we're waiting now.
It must be scared of me.
We're waiting now for Big Ernie Ladd's opponent to come into the arena. And here he comes, the masked man, Mr. Wrestling 2.
Contrast in styles. Boyd Pierce, Ernie Ladd did the best thing he could do right
Big
here.
Ernie Ladd, Mr. Wrestling 2. Richard Bowden comes out of the ring. Jack Howe.
That's a big boast to pull the mask off of Wrestling 2. That's a big boast even for Ernie Ladd to make Boyd Pierce.
Ernie said he would remove it, and he does remove the mask.
That's not Wrestling 2.
Paul Orndorff, Frank Dusick, that's who it is.
That's Paul Orndorff. That's not
Well,
Wrestling
we've
2.
seen it all.
Orndorff, he's back for revenge. I wouldn't want to be in Ladd's shoes right now. This Orndorff, he's out for blood. He's not out to wrestle. Orndorff's not out to wrestle. He's out for blood.
Paul Orndorff, Frank Dusick is not trying to win the match. He's trying to destroy Ernie Ladd.
He's definitely trying to hurt him. He's just trying to choke him down, pound on him. That's all he's doing, Boyd Pierce. No wrestling ability, no wrestling skills at all. There's Leroy Brown, bad Leroy Brown, in trying to help out his partner. The referee should call for the bell here. Leroy Brown's bailed his partner out, Boyd Pierce.
Let him go. I know you surprised me and everybody else, but most of all, you surprised Ernie Ladd. You You surprised Ernie more than anybody because we've all been concerned with the injuries to your brother Terry. You was not even in the country. We didn't know whether we could contact you, and here you are.
Well, I'm back right now. I just traveled 16,000 miles to get a little piece of Ernie land. I heard what he did to my brother. He deliberately tried to put my brother out of professional wrestling, and he just may well have done that. My brother's laid up in the hospital right now. He's got a broken collarbone, and he may have permanent damage in his shoulder. Well, I'm going to tell you, Ernie Land, there's going to be a lot of surprises, baby, because I'm back, and I'm going to get a piece of your butt. That's a promise, Ernie. I don't care where, I don't care how, I don't care when, but I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, I will get you, lad, for what you did to my brother. Because you're going to pay, baby.
As Paul settles down, we have been surprised. We'll be back. More action when we settle down after this word from Mid-South Wrestling.
5 pounds from New York City, the Brute. And in the blue corner at 245 pounds from Mexico City, Jose Lothario.
The Big Brute, all on the head, whiskered on the chin, versus Super Sock Jose Lothario. Jack Howe calls for the bell.
Oh, this is a match between two big superstars right here. The Brute about 320, and what does Jose go, boy?
At 265, Jim.
Well, I know he packs a wallop, and he's internationally known. And you see that there's what I was talking about. That's the difference in experience, where young Randy Brewer or some of the younger kids, when they break on the ropes, they may not quite protect themselves. You notice that Jose, when he broke on that rope, he was ready. He knows guys like the Brute from being through it, and he was ready to fire right back. Good move by Jose, duck under into a hammerlock, and the Brute wisely at that point, being off his feet where his weight and strength wasn't an advantage, he went to the ropes, come back and use that height to snap Jose over, but Jose went right to a head scissor. These guys seem like they're wanting just at any moment to break into just a fisticuffs out there, and Donnybrook there, Boyd. So far, they're staying with the wrestling.
If the Brute knows what I know about Jose, he'll stick to wrestling.
That's right. I was just getting ready to say that. These guys, sometimes they get ready to fire away. It's like when Danny Hodge was active, you know. You get one of these rugged guys like Bruiser Bob Sweetan or somebody like that, and they'd pop that Danny a punch. It almost like they realized that they'd done the wrong thing, because Hodge, with his ring record, if you wanted to fight, he was certainly ready. And that's the same thing with Jose Lothario. It's pretty hard, you know. You figure a guy, if he can box, you know, as you know, I've never heard of a boxer ever beating a wrestler unless he really lucked off the first punch when the wrestler was coming in, because in most of the history books, the wrestler had no problem. He just took the boxer off his feet and beat him. So if you figure if a guy can box and you can wrestle, you can win. But then some of these guys, they certainly don't want to stand up and change punches with a guy like Lothario, because he can do both. The Brute using that tremendous upper body strength, that weight advantage. He's pretty cocky right now, but looks like he actually resents that full head of hair, Jose Lothario.
Yeah.
I want to comment that we were forced to turn in a complete report to the National Wrestling Alliance last week on Mike George using that chair on Jerry Brown, and they did find Mike George. And of course, I know that sometimes that sets bad with some of the fans because of what Jerry Brown and then Bobby Jaggers had done to Mike George a few weeks back. But if what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and rules have to be followed. And when Mike came in and attacked Jerry Brown, although it must have given him a lot of satisfaction, it hurt him in the pocketbook. Next week we have the U.S. Tag Champions, Bobby Jaggers and Jerry Brown, and they'll be against the Louisiana Tag Champions, Ray Candy and Stephen Littlebear. And that should be a fantastic, that's the main event for next week here on television. Tremendous power by the Brute. The man who set off a volcano when he was booked against a guy and wasn't even booked. He went in and jumped Stephen Littlebear when Littlebear was booked against a guy and then the Brute turned around and whooped the guy and hurt him badly too, and it turned out that it was Eric the Red's kid brother. And Eric the Red just went wacko. Body slam. Kicking is legal. That's with the flat of the foot. That's legal. He's going up. Referee's out of the picture. Referee's trying to come up out. But Jose got out of the way. And 320 landed right flat on its face. The assassin came in. Jose hit him a left hook and laid him right out here in front of our table, Boyd. And now he's polishing off the Brute. He drops an elbow on him. Referees. The assassin's going up, and Jose spots him, but the Brute's holding on Jose's tights, and the assassin gets Jose Lothario. Referee catches it for the disqualification, but the assassin caught Jose Lothario across the small ribs in the back and the kidney area, and Jose Lothario was down. He had beat both. It looked like he'd whipped them both there, but they got to him, as you can see. Another referee coming in to stop it.
There's Jack Howe disqualifying for jumping off the top rope, and that doesn't help Jose. He caught the full brunt of it. Now Jerry Usher's out
there.
Both referees.
Getting the Boot back. That leaves the assassin free.
Getting in that last stomp, the assassin, before heading to the dressing room. We'll be back.